And good evening, everyone. Welcome to WREP 15 Sports. Eric Burns here to give you the call. It is sectional time here at Ciderwoods Field where the Martinsville Artesians are taking on the Bloomington North Cougars. You can see the records there. Bloomington North comes into tonight's sectional game at 2-7. Martinsville at 7-2. Now, both of these teams had an extra week off. Both these teams drew the bye in this particular sectional. Last week, only two teams in this sectional played. That was Whiteland and Franklin. Whiteland came out with maybe a closer victory than what some people thought. They are playing tonight at Whiteland against Bloomington South. Winner of this game, Artesians Cougars, will play the winner of Panthers and Warriors. It's a huge game. As you can tell, sectional time means you lose, you go home. You keep winning, you march to what Coach Whitson has his goal has set out from the start of the season. And that is 29 miles, and that is the distance to Lucas Oil Stadium where the state championship game would be played. And the Artesians, they won the toss. They deferred, and they will get the kick at the start of the second half. So they will be kicking off to the Bloomington North Cougars to start this game. As you can tell, not a great crowd. Probably the weather conditions playing a huge factor into that. It is cold, windy, and damp. It's going to have a bit of some rain drizzle as we kick this off. Urban gets his leg into it, and it goes into the end zone. So it will be a touchback. So a good strong kick there by the senior kicker. But unfortunately, weather-wise has kept some people away. Across Ciderwoods Field, there's maybe about 50 fans that drove up, 37 from Bloomington North. Artesian fans kind of sprinkled throughout the home side here, but it is a cold, damp, and windy day. Just miserable conditions to watch a football game. The Artesians hoping to give this Artesian faithful who came out in these elements a win. There's a snap. The freshman throws it. It's a low catch, but it is a completion on the far side for maybe about a 3-yard pickup. Bloomington North, like I said, comes in to tonight's matchup 2-7. They have played a few 6A schools as they are still in Conference Indiana, which is the conference that the Artesians moved out of when they moved to the Mid-State Conference. So Bloomington North plays some 6A schools on a regular basis. So you can't overlook their record. There's a swing pass out on the far side, and tough contact there. And finally pushed out of bounds, but going to be shy of the first down marker. Nice strong run by the North receiver. That was 84 Aaron Steinfeld. Now Bloomington North, their receivers, they have some very big receivers on this football team that has some size. Aaron Steinfeld, 6'4", 202 pounds. Also 6'2", Eli Shetterly, another receiver with some size. This is a third down, big third down, a chance for the Artesians to force a punt for Bloomington North. It's going to be a pass. Lozano gets his man, and he is going to be stopped. No gain there, so it's going to bring up fourth down. We'll see what Coach Bless does here. It looks like he's going to bring out his punting unit. Great job by Coach McKinney, defensive coordinator in that defensive unit for the Artesians, forcing a 3-and-out here. And this could be interesting. It's cold, wet, damp. This is an important punt here for Bloomington North, trying to get the handle, and it's a low, and they might have got a piece of it. It might have been blocked, but it will take a Cougar bounce and will die just before it hits the 40. So the Artesians will have good starting field position when they come out. Artesians come into tonight's game averaging about 34 points a game, defense giving up about 19 points a game. Bloomington North comes in, their offense scoring about 21 points per game, defense giving up 30 points per game. Coach Scott Bless for the Cougars, 58-92 in his 14th season at Bloomington High School North. So we'll see what the Artesians do here. Empty backfield. You would think because of the elements you might see a bit of more of a ground game, and it is a fakes the handoff, and he's going to go deep. He's got a man wide open and is caught. Have to see who that was. Number 31 with the reception. That might be, and it is Andy Myers. Andy Myers is back. Andy Myers had a huge game, the second game of the season against Bloomington South. Had 9 catches, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the next game early in the first quarter against Greenwood hurt his ankle and has missed the rest of the season until right then. And Griffey gets a few yards on that keeper. Going back to that last pass to Myers, Griffey kind of underthrew him just a little bit. If he was able to lead Andy Myers probably would be in the end zone. Myers had to stop and wait for that pass, but he got it. And the Artesians are moving here, second down for Martinsville. It's Isaac Osborne who gets stopped, not going to be much. Still fighting for extra yardage, still going, but I think maybe the extra effort got him back to the original line of scrimmage. So it's going to be third and long coming up, third and about 7 for the Artesians after the long pass from Griffey to Myers. I like the play call on that first play. It's cold, it's wet. You kind of expect a run play, but you go deep, and it works out for you. But Artesians really need to capitalize here. 9:44 left to go in the first quarter. Going to pass it, and it is a risky pass. Number 1 there for Bloomington North read that perfectly, and that was Sam Wersinski, I should say. He was kind of read that, and Artesians, fortunately, that wasn't a pick 6, but an incompletion. So Coach Whitson is going to send out his kicker, the senior, Caleb Urban. We're looking about a 42-yard field goal. Urban puts his leg into it. It is good. About a 41-yard field goal from the senior kicker, Caleb Urban, and you see what kind of weapon he is. You get 3 points on the board. So the Artesian defense forces a 3-and-out, and then the Artesians, after the long pass on the first play of the offensive possession, goes from Griffey to Myers. And Caleb Urban puts points on the board. So an early 3-0 lead here in the first quarter for the Artesians. Go back to some sectional history. As most of you know, watching the Artesians throughout the years, Artesians have not won a sectional championship since 1996. Quite a drought for this Martinsville football program. They're hoping to end that this year as Caleb Urban just boots that all the way into the back of the end zone. Artesians in 1996 defeated Terre Haute North 27-0 to win the sectional championship. Went on to beat Evansville Harrison down in Evansville in a big way, scoring over 60 points. 63-28, I believe, was that score for the regional championship. Then came back here to Martinsville High School and lost in the semi-state to Ben Davis 35-55. Ben Davis would go on to lose the state championship game to Penn 14-17 in that 1996 season. So the last time the Artesians won a sectional championship in 96, they're hoping to break that here. Handoff, Lozano's going to keep it, and he's going to be tackled from behind. Great tackle from the Artesian, number 77, Logan Byram, to get Lozano behind the line of scrimmage. Logan Byram, it's his 6th tackle for loss on the season. Number 3, Reese Lozano is a freshman quarterback for the North Cougars, and he has played the whole season. It's not like he's filling in for somebody. He was the starter, and this time it's a handoff coming down the near side. They've got it strung out, and they stop it. Not much running room there, if any. Looks like Ben Marino, Jacob Burkett in there on the tackle. Good defense by the Artesians. Stringing that run out. Not giving up much yards. 3rd and long coming up for the Cougars. Artesians defense with another great opportunity to get a stop here and force a 4th down. Artesians have forced the Cougars to go backwards here. Lozano's going to pass it. He's got a man open. He's caught, but is it going to be enough for the first down? It's going to be close. The near side official says it's going to be, we'll see. This is going to be a interesting spot here, but it will make it 4th and well, we've got one official saying it's a first down, and then another one saying that he's just short of it. We'll see if Coach Whitson calls for a measurement here because it is close. And they're just going to give it to him. They're not even going to measure it. Looks like he had to get to the 30, and maybe the nose of the football is resting on the 30-yard line. So a 3rd and long pass completed by the Cougars, and they keep this drive alive. 8 minutes left to go early in this game, first quarter. Lozano, he's going to, and it's going to be a false start, looks like, on the Cougars. The referees threw a penalty to stop the play before it was completed, and it will be a false start on Bloomington North. So that'll move them back 5 yards, make it 1st and 15 for the Cougars. Last time these two teams played, Martinsville, Bloomington North, it was 2014. It was also in the sectionals. It was Halloween night, I believe. And it was actually snowing that game in 2014. I remember it. Called that game. Artesians were able to pull out the win that night and advance to the sectional championship. That was the last time these two teams played. Fakes the handoff. Lozano's going to roll to his right. And he's got a man, number 84, big receiver. That's Steinfeld, I think, and he is hit hard. Does get about 6 or 7 yards on, or check that, 5 or 6 yards. Actually got more than that. Got a decent gain. It was about 6 or 7 yards. So it'll bring up 2nd and about 8 coming up for the Cougars. Bloomington North will do a bunch of different looks offensively. You'll see some wishbone, some option. It's going to be just a quarterback keeper, and he is upended right there. Try to see who knifed in and got that. Logan Byram, number 77, I think, came from its defensive lineman spot and met Lozano for a short gain, if any. Here comes another 3rd and long for the Cougars. 3rd and 7. Artesians have a chance to force a punt, or at least a decision by Coach Bless. They had Bloomington North 3rd and 13 earlier in this drive, but they completed about a 13-yard completion, and it was very close, but officials said it was enough for the first down. Play clock's at 10 seconds here, so North may have to hurry. We'll see if Coach Bless will have to burn a timeout. They're going to have to rush this, and they will have to call a timeout. Play clock got down to about 2 seconds, and Coach Scott Bless had to burn his first timeout of the half. So the Artesian defense will talk things over and figure out what they want to do here on this 3rd and long situation. 6:42 left to go in the first quarter. Artesians with an early 3-0 lead thanks to a 42-yard field goal from Caleb Urban. That was set up on the long pass play from Travis Griffey to the newly inserted Andy Myers. Like I said, Andy Myers had a great game, the second game of the season against Bloomington South. 9 catches, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. But then early in the first quarter against Greenwood, the very next game, 3rd game of the season, hurt his ankle and has been out ever since. And because of the bye week last week, Andy Myers able to go, and he made a big impression early on. First play of the offensive possession for the Artesians. But here we go. It's the defense's turn now. 3rd and 7 coming up. Ball resting at about the 33-yard line of the Cougars. Lozano back to pass. He throws it. He's got a man. It's caught. And a big gain for the Cougars, right? Tackle just shy of the 40-yard line. I think number 44, Will Nix, Ben Balsarac also in there on the tackle. But Cougars have some momentum. They're moving, and now Lozano has the football. He's making some miss, and he is tackled at about the 35-yard line. So Bloomington North offense moving it a little bit here. They've been able to convert 2 3rd and long situations on this drive. Artesians have done a really good job first and second downs, but it's those third and longs that Bloomington North has been able to convert 2 different times that has kept this drive moving for them. Under 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Cider-Woods Field on a cold, rainy night. And hands off up the middle. And did the ball come loose? Sideline saying that the ball came loose, but it looks like Bloomington North was able to recover it. And you may see a lot of that. Ball gets wet, hands get cold, and recipe for a lot of possible fumbles here. But Bloomington North, pretty good job at protecting the football. They've only turned it over 4 times, and only one of those was due to a lost fumble. So Bloomington North does a pretty good job of taking care of the football. That time it nearly cost them. Artesians couldn't quite capitalize. So third, and this time it's a little bit more manageable than what Bloomington North has seen the last 2. It's 3rd and 5. Time for the defense to get a stop here. It's a high snap, and he loses the football, and he dives on it, and it's close. We'll see if Martinsville jumped on it. I thought Lozano was able to get it back. And it looks like the Bloomington North quarterback was able to jump on it. It looks like it just slipped out of his hands. He was going to try to pass it. And just on cue, we talked about it. A wet football, cold conditions. You can see that happen quite a bit maybe tonight. And couldn't have happened at the worst moment for the Bloomington North Cougars. They fumbled it the play before, got it back, and then that time fumbled it on the mishandle by the quarterback. Punting situation, and we've got some penalties coming in from the officials. More than likely, this is going to be a procedure penalty on Bloomington North because they stopped the play. And it will be a false start on the Cougars. That'll move them back 5 yards. So Bloomington North had it. 3rd and about 5 at the Artesian 35-yard line. Now they've pushed them back all the way to the Artesian 48. So they keeps moving it backwards, and that's going to help out the Artesians. But Bloomington North is going to try to pin them back. 4:22 left to go in the first quarter. It's a low snap, bounces it, able to get it, and gets the punt away. It's a line drive punt, and it's mishandled by the Artesians. Picked up, though, by Gallion. Seth Gallion going to try to get to the outside. He gets a little bit of an edge, still on his feet, still going, forced out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. We'll see where he's officially marked out. Some stressful moments there, I'm sure, by the coaches on the Artesian sideline, and it was a line drive punt. Gallion tried to field it, but it went through his hands, was able to pick it up and get some yardage, and gets it on the other side of the 30-yard line, about the 31, 32-yard line. So Artesians with some decent starting field position again. Could have been a lot worse. So Griffey will wait and get the play. Hands it off to Osborne right up the middle and gets a nice first down yardage there. Gets out to near the 40-yard line. So about a 6 or 7 yard pickup on that play. 2nd and 3 coming up for the Artesians. 3:45 left to go in this first quarter. Griffey, I think, is going to keep it this time on the left side. Puts his head down and gets across to the first down. It was a fast-moving first quarter, 3:35, and I'm sure that's what a lot of these fans want is a quick moving ball game because you have to hand it to both sidelines being out here. Fakes the pass. That's a good fake because that was looking like it was going to be picked off, and Griffey's got some running room. Still on his feet, lowers his shoulder, gets it across the 35-yard line. And a great decision there by Travis Griffey. I don't know if that was a planned fake the throw and run with it or not, but I am glad that Travis Griffey faked that because that looked like it was going to be intercepted. Griffey saw it, a little pump fake, and took it around the left side for a huge Artesian gain and a first down, and they are in Cougar territory at the 33-yard line. 8 seconds on the play clock, plenty of time. Low snap, but handles it. Griffey, he's going to go deep. He's got a man. It's Thomas, and incomplete. Tried to catch there on the sidelines, couldn't quite come down with it. I do like the fact that Coach Whitson's having Griffey take some shots downfield. Artesians haven't really done a whole lot of that this season. They've done it some, but they're really not a team known to just chuck it downfield left and right. They come in averaging 206 yards per game on the ground, 161 through the air. So this is definitely a ground team with Griffey and Osborne, kind of the two-headed monster on the ground. Second down, Griffey going to option it to Osborne. Osborne, he's got to get by one man. He does, but can't get around the others. That's going to be a loss on that option play. It's like number 23, Trey Candelaria, one of the linebackers, came in there with the hit on Osborne, and that's going to be 3rd and long. So want to be careful because you don't want to go backwards too much and push Caleb Urban out of his range. He's hit a 50-yarder earlier this season. So you're at the 36-yard line now. Artesians looking to get some positive yardage and hopefully gets 13 yards. That'll be enough for the first down. 5 seconds on the play clock, gets the play off. Griffey, he's going to go deep again, and he cannot get it. He had, I believe that was Michael Hoppel, who had his man beat. And these Artesian receivers, they have had a step or two on their defender. Just haven't quite been able to connect. .221 left to go. 4th down, probably a good decision here to go for it. I think you're out of Urban's field goal range just a little bit, but you don't want to just punt this away. Here comes Johnson in motion, fakes the handoff to him. 9 seconds on the play clock. Let's see if Coach Whitson will burn a timeout here. Or is he just going to take the delay of game penalty? It will be just take the delay of game penalty, get a little more room for Caleb Urban to punt here. I can't know for sure, but I think if Bloomington North would have jumped there with some of the movement that Martinsville was showing, then Coach Whitson would decide to possibly go for it. I would have made it 4th and 8. A little bit more manageable. So Caleb Urban back to punt. Want to make sure this is a good snap, good handle, and it is. And he kicks a low, and that might work out for the Artesians. Can they stop it? And they're going to say he could not stop it before it went into the end zone. Great hustle, good punt by Caleb Urban. That's exactly how you set it up. But unfortunately, Artesians couldn't quite get it before it crossed that goal line. So Bloomington North will have it at the 20-yard line. Great effort by the Artesian punt team there. Hustling down to try and get that, but just about a second too late. So Coach Whitson going to rely on his defense to get another stop. They have forced 2 Bloomington North punts. Bloomington North moved the ball a little bit the last time they had it, but a couple of fumbles led to them forcing it to punt it away. Lozano back to pass. He's got pressure. He gets away from it. A flag comes, and he gets tackled there just as he crosses the 20. Now, this could be a face mask. I don't know. I saw Lozano duck his head. I don't know if that was because a Artesian player grabbed the face mask or what. We'll find out here by the official, and it will be a face mask against the Artesians. So this will be we'll see what type of penalty this is. And it's not going to be a 15-yarder. So a 5-yard penalty there, but sets up the Cougars for a rare 1st and 2 coming up here. North shows a little bit of motion. Lozano back to pass. It's a screen. And nice setup there, forced out of bounds. It's Izzy Elliott maybe that forced Cougar player out of bounds, but it is a first down for Bloomington North. 1:47 left to go in this first quarter. And they hand it off up the middle. Spins, but doesn't get a whole lot of running room. Ben Marino was one of the Artesian defenders in there on the tackle, along with a couple other Martinsville players. So minimum gain there for the Cougars. Clock approaching 1 minute here in the first quarter. Artesian show blitz, and they're going to bring a lot of pressure. And Bloomington North gets away from it and spins, tackle still on his feet. And, man, gets across the 45 for a first down. And Artesians, they brought a lot of pressure. They brought everybody. And Trueblood was able to get to the second level and spun away and nearly broke it for more. But now Bloomington North, they're wanting to go fast. Trueblood has it. And he gets tackled as right near midfield. Xavier Trueblood, number 8, the main ball carrier for the Cougars, had a huge game last week against Southport. Lozano's going to keep it this time, and he will get across for a first down. So the Cougars offense moving once again. Now this is about where they went last time they had the football, and then things started to stall out. Artesian defense tightened things up a little bit. We'll see if Artesians can do it again. Passes it, Trueblood has it, trying to bounce it off to the outside. He's got some room and forced out of bounds. That should stop the clock. 21 seconds in the first quarter here at Satterwoods Field. First sectional game for both teams, Artesians, Cougars. Second down and short. Cougars taking their time. They get the call from the sideline and go to the huddle. And we've got I think an injured Martinsville player. So all of a sudden there's an injured Martinsville player kind of on his hands and knees. So that'll be a stoppage of play for the injured Artesian. Cannot see who the injured player is quite yet. And it looks like it's Chase Havlin, the defensive end for the Artesians now. Chase had to miss a couple games due to a shoulder injury. So I don't know what the injury was. I don't want to speculate. He did have to miss 2 games due to a shoulder injury earlier in the year. Came back, I believe, against Mooresville. I think he missed the Perry Meridian game and was injured during the Whiteland game, I want to say. There he is, a shot of him talking to the coaches. Doesn't look to be in too bad a shape. Walking around, maybe just got the wind knocked out of him, not for sure. I'm not quite sure what the rest of what this other delay is. I don't know if there's a problem with the field. Looks like they're trying to wipe down the field here. This is like most high school football fields, artificial turf, and I just heard someone say it very well could be they're spraying something. There could be some maybe the blood on the field, so they're trying to get that cleaned up before they let anyone else out on the field. Looks like we're about ready to get back underway here. First quarter still, 21 seconds left. Bloomington North is driving. Artesians with a slim 3-0 lead after a Caleb Urban field goal early in this first quarter. Lozano back to pass. He's going to air it out on the sideline. Is it picked? It is! What a play. I think it's Garrett Miles with the interception, and it is. Number 6, Garrett Miles with a huge interception. And that is number 4 on the year for Mr. Garrett Miles. And that is twice that the Artesian defense has come up big after Bloomington North was driving a little bit. They got the stop that they needed. So a huge play for Garrett Miles. And Artesians will set up shop deep in their own end zone, however, inside their own 5-yard line. So they will have to be careful here. 13 seconds left on the clock. Low snap. Griffey's going to be buried. Kind of the low snap messed up the timing there a little bit, and that went backwards. So now it's going to be second and long, but that'll do it for the first quarter. We will switch sides of the field. Artesians with a 3-0 lead after a big interception by Garrett Miles. We'll be back right after this.
Our definition of a relationship is being able to look you in the eye and hear about your concern, hearing about your family, hearing about your job, hearing about your aspirations, getting to know you, and positioning ourselves to help you meet those dreams. Now that sounds pretty old-fashioned, but we're not willing to give that up. We're simply not going to give that up.
For all the banking services you need, there's no place like home.
Join the majority.
And welcome back, everyone. WREP 15 Sports, Eric Burns here to give you the play-by-play. The second quarter, second sectional matchup. Artesians, Cougars here. Artesians have it, but they are pinned deep. Griffey's going to have to take this snap in his own end zone. Garrett Miles with a big interception. And they're going to hand it off. Osborne, not a whole lot of room there. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or two, but it's going to bring up third and about 11. And Artesians will have it at about their own 4-yard line. So this is a tricky situation for Artesians here. So here we go, third and long for and we've got a flag. I think Coach Whitson wanted the play clock reset. Kind of letting the official know that feels it should be, but the flag is about the 4-yard line. This typically is going to be a procedure penalty, and it will be a false start on the Artesians. That's going to be half the distance to the goal and make this even harder. Third and 14 coming up for the Artesians. Big play here. Have to be careful. You got the ball at your own 2-yard line. See what Coach Woodson does here. If he wants to air it out and really try to go after this first down or just get some breathing room. He's got pressure on his backside, throws it deep, and he cannot connect. I think once that was Andy Myers he was trying to hit. Once again, Andy Myers had a step on his guy, but Griffey just threw it just a little too far in front of him, and this is going to be a interesting punting situation here for Mr. Caleb Urban. He's going to have to punt this, have his heels near the back of the end zone, make sure he doesn't step out of bounds there. Griffey had Andy Myers there down the far sideline, but just could not quite connect to him. Would have been a huge gainer. Snap is good. High punt. Hopefully it takes an Artesian bounce. It does the opposite, actually, and Artesians have to stop it. And he was kicking that into the wind, Urban was, and he had to kind of kick that quick because Bloomington North brought some pressure. So now Bloomington North will have excellent starting field position, and the defense will have to do it again. Bloomington North gets to start inside the 30 of the Artesians at about the 28-yard line. So see if this Artesian D can do what they've done early on in this game, and that's keep Bloomington North off the scoreboard. Trueblood has it and falls forward for only a couple. Artesian did a nice job of keeping Trueblood from breaking it to the outside, forced him to go back in, and not much running room there for Trueblood. You're going to have to hand it to all the Artesian fans who have kind of braved these elements. Cold, wet, windy game. And there's not really a steady rain or a hard rain. I don't think you're going to see any of that, but just that rain that just, just almost like a drizzle or a mist, just enough to keep that air damp. And they're going to hand it off to the receiver coming across, and there he goes on the sideline, is hit out of bounds. Big play there by Bloomington North. That was Nathan Jenkins, the running back / receiver. He does a little bit of everything. And he almost ran it in there for a touchdown. But Artesians were able to stop him. And it's Trueblood now. Tries to go back inside and gets a few yards, maybe out to the 10-yard line or just shy of it. .45 left to go here in the second quarter. Artesians with a 3-0 lead. Artesian defense has done a nice job so far in this game. But Bloomington North had great starting field position and once again moving the football, but they've moved the football pretty well most of the game, and Artesian have stopped him. Lozano is going to throw it, and it is it caught? It was caught, wow. Picked up off the turf. That was Jenkins again with the reception. He had the long run earlier in this drive, and it's going to be just shy of the first down, though. It's going to be 3rd and 1 for the North Cougars. That was a good catch by that Bloomington North receiver. Lozano had some pressure as he was rolling out, and Jenkins was able to make the tough catch. So about a yard or half a yard for the first down for North. Lozano's going to keep it. He's going to get hit. I think he's going to have the first down. And no, they get the stop. I thought he got across the 5-yard line is where he needed to get, and he did not get it. So it's going to be 4th and inches once again, and North is going to go for it here. Instead of going for the tie, they're going to try to keep this drive going. Lozano's got 2 running backs there. Trueblood, that time he did get it. Didn't get much after it, but he got exactly what he needed to get the first down. So it will be 1st and goal from about the 4 or 3-yard line. North moving the ball quickly. Trueblood has it, and it's going to be strung out by the Artesians. Good defense, stringing that out. Trueblood was trying to find a hole and just kind of kept going to the sideline, and Artesians were able to gang tackle him and move him back about a yard or 2. Artesians have just had a really strong goal line defense. You can remember back to that 3rd game of the season, Greenwood had it 1st and goal from the Artesian 5 right before the half. The Artesians stopped them and didn't give up a single point. See if the Artesians can do the same thing here. Lozano's going to pass it, and it is knocked. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 3rd and goal, and this Martinsville crowd will start making some noise. And Lozano may be happy that that was tipped because he was throwing that to a receiver that looked like he had double coverage. And Coach Bless going to call his 2nd timeout of the half. And he's going to try to talk things over with his offense and figure out how they're going to get points on the board. And Artesians will do the same thing, but they're going to try to talk about how to keep the Cougars out of the end zone. 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. Artesians hanging on to a 3-0 lead here with 7.5 minutes left to go in the first half of play. Martinsville offense has struggled a little bit, as you can obviously tell from the scoreboard. Just moving the football. Had the big pass connection, first play of the offensive possession for the Artesians to Andy Myers. Ever since then, the ground game just hasn't really gotten going. And the passing game, even though the receivers have had a step or two on the man, just haven't quite been able to connect with Griffey. So I think you keep taking those shots because eventually you're going to get one of those to connect, and it's going to be a big play. So, but right now we've got 3rd and goal from the 6. Artesians trying to keep Bloomington North out of the end zone here. Lozano passes it. It's a slant. It is incomplete. No good. And Martinsville forces a 4th down, and they may bring, it looks like they're going to bring their kicking unit out to try and tie this game up. Great defensive stand by the Artesians. And as long as this isn't some kind of fake, all the Cougars can do here is tie it up. Ben Friel will be kicking this. It's only going to be about a 23-yard field goal, not much more than an extra point. Kick is up, and it is good. And we are tied at 3, but I'm sure Coach Whitson will be happy with that because that looked like Bloomington North was getting ready to score a touchdown and take a lead. They had it 1st and goal from the Artesian 3-yard line, and the Artesians kept them out of the end zone. So that's got to be a win for this Artesian defense, even though Bloomington North does get points out of it to tie this game at 3 apiece. And I knew coming into this game, despite the record, and I'm sure the coaching staff told all their players the same thing, even though this Bloomington North Cougars team has a 2-7 record, this team is going to battle. This is going to be a battle. This isn't going to be a game that's going to be an easy pushover for the Artesians. The wins that Bloomington North has against Greenwood to open the season, and they also beat New Albany about the midway point of the season as well. They've had some close losses, though. They lost in overtime to Terre Haute South 21-28. They lost to Bloomington South by about 12 points. Lost to Terre Haute North by 18. They played Roncalli, who's a great football program. Played Columbus North. That was probably their biggest defeat of the season. Lost 35-3 against Columbus North, but Columbus North is a top 5 6A team. And they lost to Southport, the regular season finale, 34-40, but the Cougars were down 34-6 at halftime and ended up battling back to make it close. And that is going to go into the end zone for a touchback. So this Cougar team, they're going to fight. They're going to battle. And even though the Artesians have a 7-2 record and they're taking on a team with a record that's flip-flopped 2-7, this is not going to be an easy matchup for the Artesians. And as you can see here early on in this first half, that's what it's been. It's been kind of a defensive struggle. Now, yes, the weather and elements might play a little bit of factor into this. Both defenses have done well, and offenses have had their moments where they've struggled, and that's why we're at a 3-3 tie ball game, 7:18 left to go in the second quarter. You are watching WREP 15 Sports sectional time football here at Ciderwoods Field. Griffey, he's going to just take a direct snap and get it. Okay, and he gets it to the 25. I thought he might have bobbled the football there for a second. It might have just been my imagination, but somehow wrestles his way to a 5-yard pickup. That looks like it would have been a minimum gain, but Travis Griffey, big, strong kid, able to carry the defender all the way for a 5-yard pickup. So maybe that'll get the ground game going a little bit. Fakes it. He's going to go deep. He's going to try to get Michael Hoppel in, and Michael Hoppel can't quite haul it in. That one was close. Michael Hoppel just couldn't quite get his hands on it. Maybe a little bit out in front of him, just a bit, but it was close. All these receivers have had a step on their man. I hope Coach Whitson continues to go deep down the sideline, because eventually you're going to find success. Eventually the quarterback and receiver is going to connect. So here we go. We'll see what the Artesians do here. It's important to get a first down. The defense has been out on the field a lot, so this is an important play here. Griffey's going to roll out. Looks like he's got Johnson out in the flat. Throws it, and it is knocked away. So it's going to be a 4th down, and it's going to be a punting situation for the Artesians once again. So that means defense is going to have to go back out there. And we got an official timeout there on the sideline. Looks like one of the members of the chain gang there holding the sticks, I think, got ran into. He's back up and looks to be okay. They get the sticks back in place. So here we go, 4th and 5 coming up for the Artesians now. The offense is still out there, and I don't believe that the Artesians are going to go for it here. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before many a times. That this might be just a thing, since you need 5 yards, you might try to get North to jump here. I highly doubt the Artesians will snap it here. We'll see. They've only used 1 timeout, so they still got 2 timeouts in case they want to burn one here, and they will. So burn a timeout. I'm guessing you'll see the punting unit be brought out here with 6.5 minutes left to go in a tie 3-3 ball game. Coach Whitson there in the shot. I'd like to also give a shout out to our cameraman and camera crew who been helping us out and braving the elements there outside up top the press box, getting the shots that they can in these cold, rough elements, as Artesians will be set to punt this away here on 4th down. Caleb Urban back to punt it again. So here we go, punting situation. Caleb Urban back to punt this away. Good snap. And he's going to get a nice punt. That's going to take a nice Artesian roll. It's going to get down just at around the 38-yard line. So good punt there by Caleb Urban to flip the field. So the Artesian defense will be asked to do it again. They've been the kind of the star of this first half, as offense just haven't quite been able to get things clicking. I'm sure that will change here. Artesians' offense doesn't stay down too long, coming in averaging over 34 points a game. So I truly believe this Martinsville offense will blow out in a big way here at some point during this game. So here we go. North has it once again. Artesian defense, you hope that they're conditioning as well, because they've been out on the field quite a bit. And we've got a stoppage of play. It looked like that was weird from the start. I don't know if I don't see a flag. Doesn't. Nope. The flag is thrown kind of back, and it's going to be a delay of game. So that's why it was thrown from the back judge there. It was a delay of game. That's a penalty that Coach Bless probably driving him crazy right now. First down, 1st and 10, and you move back 5 yards the very first play. So 6:17 here. Lozano back. He's going to hand it off and gobbled up immediately. Not much there. Chase Havlin in there on that from his defensive end spot. Logan Byram also in there on the tackle. Logan Byram's had a good first half. 2nd and 15, no gain on that run. Team's going to show some pressure here. True Blood gets a little bit of, looks like he was going to be tackled in the backfield, but was able to maybe get back to the line of the original line of scrimmage. Artesian defense just keeps doing it. 3rd and 15 now. And this is where they need to stop. They gave up a 3rd and 13 earlier in the first quarter. Didn't hurt on the scoreboard, but really need to, would love to get a stop here and force a Bloomington punt. Get this defense off the field, give them some rest. Lozano's going to roll out. He's going to go cut back inside, get hit and tackled. He will go down. Logan Byram, his 2nd sack of the year. I mentioned Logan Byram has had a big game in this first half, and there brought down Lozano. And Bloomington North with an opportunity, but Artesian defense shuts the door on it. 4:35 left to go. Punting situation for the Cougars. Some pressure there by Nix, and Gallion takes it. He's going to cut back. Gets a nice block. Oh, and they call a flag, and that cannot be a hold. That was a clean block. There's 2 flags where Ben Balsarac, I think. He came around. I thought he hit him right in the front. I thought he came around. Let's see what they call it. They call it a hold or block in the back. They're going to call it a hold. That's from about the 40-yard line, so that'll move it back about 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So Artesian should have this at about their own 30-yard line with 4:15 or 4:17, I should say, left to go in this first half. So Balsarek tried to spring Gallion. So here we go. We'll see if this Artesian super quick offense can get clicking here. Isaac Osborne's been bottled up, really hasn't had any room to run. Passing game hasn't quite got going except for one big pass play, so we'll see if that things can change here on this drive. You'd love to get a touchdown, get some momentum going into the locker room. High snap, but Griffey's got it, and it's going to be a screen. It's set up perfectly. Isaac Osborne has it. He's at the 40, and a first down for the Artesians, and that was a perfect setup by the Artesians. That screen pass, great play call. Saw North was going to bring some pressure, and that's when you call the screen play. Isaac Osborne makes one man miss, but cannot make the other. No, he does. He springs loose. Griffey gets it, and we've got a flag that stops the play. And Coach Whitson is beside himself right now. All right, so the officials say that the play was blown dead. There was no penalty. Well, now the officials are going to be meeting each other. There is a flag on the field. It's at about the 36-yard line. So Isaac Osborne looked like he was going to be stopped. He broke free from the defender, and he started to run to the far side of the field and looked like he was going to have a whole lot of running room. Had a great block from Travis Griffey to help spring him, and then all of a sudden the flag came out. And when the play is in the middle of that, you usually don't get a stoppage of play for a penalty. The only time you stop the play is if it's a false start or a procedure penalty on the offense, but that play was midway going, and now the official's going to have to talk things over with Coach Whitson. I'm pretty sure there's not going to be an explanation that is going to make Coach Whitson happy. So the official there talking with Coach Whitson. And this also hurts because Martinsville finally had a little bit of momentum. They got about a 10 or 11-yard pickup on a screen pass. Then we're going quick. Isaac Osborne took the handoff, shed one tackler, got stopped, and then broke free again. And then this is where the flag was thrown and the play was stopped. But unfortunately, the whatever this explanation is going to be, it's not going to be good for the Artesians because Isaac Osborne, I think, really was going to get a big gain out of that because there was nobody on the far side of the field where he was running to. So we're under 4 minutes, 3:59 left to go here in this first half. Stoppage of play, officials trying to figure some things out here.
I'd say he should have an IW. Oh, yeah. That's my opinion. I don't count much, but that's my opinion.
Well, the ball is marked where the ball is right now. It is well behind the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be a holding against Martinsville. And it's going to be so not the Artesian faithful who are here are not happy. Now, because it was a hold, I don't know why the play was stopped unless the official said that the forward progress had been stopped and that there was a penalty that happened before that. That's the only explanation that this broadcaster can give you, is that's what happened, is that there was a hold, the forward progress was stopped, so that's why we've got the penalty yardage there. So we've got first and forever now after that bizarre play call, or I should say bizarre penalty call. So Griffey now first and long. Griffey's going to keep it himself, cuts back inside and doesn't get a whole lot of running room there. Maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. That's going to be second, actually maybe lost a yard. So 2nd and 22 is what the Martinsville scoreboard is going to show from the 30-yard line. So 2nd long, Artesians, when you finally thought they had something going, that penalty and that call. Griffey right up the middle, lowers his shoulder, gets across the 45-yard line, and that's going to make 3rd down much more manageable. That was a great block up front. Just Griffey had a huge hole to run through. So now 3rd and 6. Under 3 minutes left to go here. Let's see if the Artesians can pick up the first down and keep this drive rolling. Fakes it this time. Gives, and he threw it short. I don't know if that was tipped or what that was, but Griffey kind of bounced past it to Isaac Osborne. I don't know. He had two guys over there, Osborne and Thomas, and he bounced past it to Osborne. So it's time to bring the punting unit out again. Caleb Urban going to try to pin Bloomington North deep. Bloomington will have the ball with about 2:45. High punt that time, skied, and unfortunately goes backwards. And it's down at the 38-yard line. So couldn't quite flip the field position like you wanted. Bloomington North will have it at about the 38-yard line. And they've got 2:39 left. But the Artesian defense has been phenomenal so far in this first half. Let's hopefully they can keep it going. Now Martinsville will get the ball to start the second half. Zano back to pass. He throws it, and it is well over the head of 84 Aaron Steinfeld. That's hard to miss Aaron Steinfeld. He's about 6'4", big, tall kid. But that stops the clock, so the Artesians, they may have some time. If they defense can hold, they may have some time to get the ball back. Hands it off to Jenkins. And good job of the defense. They were not fooled that time. Jenkins had a big gain earlier in this quarter on that same play, that little jet sweep. And that time the Artesian, the right side, was not fooled. Ben Marino, that defensive end on that side, in there on that tackle. That's going to bring up 3rd and about 8 coming up for the Cougars. See what Coach Bless does here. Now the clock is running. Artesians will have 1 timeout remaining, I believe. And it's a pass. Lozano back to pass. He's going to try to run with it, and he will not get there. He will be tackled well shy of the first down, and Martinsville may have called a timeout, and they did. So Martinsville calls a timeout. And there is a penalty on the play. I could not see when the penalty flag was thrown, so I don't know if this is after the play or was during the play, but there is a penalty marker, as you can see, the officials meeting. 1:45 left to go. Right now, it's 4th and 8. Bloomington North more than likely going to punt this away. It looks like this is going to be against Bloomington North. No, it's going to be offsetting penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on both the Martinsville Artesians and the Cougars. So both those penalties will offset each other, so it will be 4th down and actually say it's 5 yards to go. But the Artesians did call a timeout, so they will talk things over. They'll have 1:45 seconds to do something offensively. Right now the ball game is tied 3-3. Artesians and Bloomington North have traded field goals, excuse me. Casey Williams is up there in the press box. I think I overheard him say that Bloomington South was leading Whiteland 20-17. They are playing at Whiteland. Winner of this game would take on the winner of this game. If Martinsville can win this football game, if South wins, it will be at Bloomington South. If Whiteland wins, Whiteland would come here to Ciderwitz Field. But we've got a whole half of football left to play, and nothing is decided at all. It is 3-3 on a cold, damp night here in late October in Indiana. Punt is a high punt, and that is going to force, and that will go into the end zone. So Artesians get a break there as the punt goes into the end zone, and Artesians will try to go 80 yards in 1 minute and 37 seconds. So the Artesian offense, coaching staff talk things over. We'll see how aggressive Coach Whitson is here. Now, Martinsville will get the ball to start the second half, so I don't know if that will have any type of decision on how aggressive or conservative his play calling is here for Martinsville. Got to go 80 yards. They're not showing a back in the backfield, so a quick pass to Hopple. Hopple makes one man miss. And 5-yard pickup there. So Artesians will have to go fast, but that's something they're very familiar with. They usually go no huddle most times. Clock's rolling, and I do not believe Martinsville has any timeouts left. I think they've used all 3. I could be wrong. If they do have a timeout, it's only 1. Hands it off to Osborne. Osborne moves the pile, and it's going to be a first down, I believe. Yes, it will be a first down, so that will stop the clock momentarily. Good solid run by Isaac Osborne there. Get about a 5 or 6 yard gain. So Artesian's going to be ready to snap this as soon as the chains are set. 1:08 left to go in this half. Artesian's trying to get some points on the board and get a halftime lead. Fakes the handoff that time. Griffey looking, still looking, and he's going to scramble, rolls right, and he's just going to throw it up and out of play. So threw that away, but unfortunately burnt quite a bit of time scrambling. That was a good job by the offensive line to hold up that. That was definitely just good coverage there by the secondary of Bloomington North. We've got an officials timeout now. Can't see what's going on. I don't see an injured player anywhere. Looks like we had a Bloomington North player down on the sideline, so that is what the stoppage of play was. So second down coming up for the Artesians. Clock is stopped after the incomplete pass. So here we go. Artesian's trying to make something happen here late in the first half. Griffey's just going to keep it himself, and he's got a hole. Still on his feet. Still going. Lowers his shoulder, finds contact, and gets in to the Cougar territory. Second big run by Travis Griffey this half, and it's just been simple right up the middle. And now the Artesians are ready to go. They take it. Griffey's going to take it again. Tries the same thing. That time, though, doesn't get much. And it looks like Martinsville did have one timeout left, and I believe they just took that. So now I'm pretty confident that Martinsville does not have any more timeouts left. So they stop the clock after they're using their final timeout. 40 seconds left to go in this second quarter. Artesians now have a chance to put some points on the board. Travis Griffey with a long quarterback run. Ball is at the 41-yard line. Probably would need to get the ball to maybe the 30-yard line to give Caleb Urban a chance. Like I said, he's hit a 50-yard field goal. 30 would make it 47, but you do have some wind. He would be kicking into that wind. .40 seconds left to go in this second quarter. Artesians and Bloomington North tied at 3 apiece. Martinsville offense, you can feel just ready to explode here. Maybe this is where they do it. They will get the ball to start the second half. He's going to send Isaac Osborne out. He's going to throw it to him. He's got it. Isaac Osborne. He's got some blockers up front. Still on his feet and tackled out of bounds at around the 25-yard line is maybe where he stepped out, and that's where they marked it. That's a first down, Artesians. Artesians offense really clicking now. Now they're definitely in Caleb Urban's range if they do not end up in the end zone, but they want to end up with 7 points here. And what this does, it kind of keeps the Bloomington North defense out on the field. It's been a while since they've been out on the field for this long. And Griffey, he's going to set up a screen, and that was nearly picked off. Number 30 of Bloomington North, if he hangs on to that, if Bloomington North's number 30 hangs on to that, that's Caleb McCoy. He is the one that's going to score the touchdown. I think they were trying to set up a screen, but Griffey had all kinds of pressure and kind of threw it up. And Caleb McCoy nearly picked that off, but could not bring it in. 10 seconds on the play clock, 30 seconds on the game clock. 2nd and 10. It's Cox on a little shovel pass. Cox he's going to go nowhere, strung out. And now Martinsville, they've got to go quick because they don't have any timeouts, so they're going to have to, we'll see what they do, 3rd and 10. What are they going to do? 12 seconds. fakes the handoff. He's going to go for the end zone. Not going to have time to do it. And it is. Was it caught? It is caught. Touchdown. What a play. And it is Andy Myers just back from injury. Griffey threw it up, and Andy Myers came down with it. I didn't think that Artesians would have any time left on the clock. They've got 1.7 seconds left. But they score the touchdown on a great pass by Travis Griffey and maybe even a better catch by Andy Myers. Extra point up. It is good. 10-3. Artesians will lead it going into the locker room, barring a last crazy 1.5 seconds here in the first half. So the Artesians finally get the first touchdown tonight, and they go up 10-3. And hopefully this is the spark that the offense needed, and they'll come out in the second half and put a few more of those up. Not sure what the delay is here. Oh, they got to get a football out on the field. So now we got a football, and we can tee this up and kick this off and finish out this first half. Once again, this is a game. The first quarter went really quick. Second quarter seemed to drag on for quite some time. So the fans and the camera crew bearing the elements here went through a long second quarter. Urban. Squib kick this, and it will be picked up and it tackled. So that will be how the first half ends. Artesians score late in the first half, and they go into the locker room with a 10-3 lead in sectionals here at Cider Woods Field. We'll be back to the third quarter after this.
Sportsmanship doesn't happen just on the court or on the field or on the mat. It doesn't happen only in the pool or on the green or the track. It also happens in the stands, on the sidelines, on the web, and at home. That's because sportsmanship is everyone's responsibility. We remind you to practice good sportsmanship at all high school sporting events. Treat athletes and officials with respect during competition and especially in social media. And support your team's coaching staff. Remember, sportsmanship has a face. Yours. A message from your high school and the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
See if the Artesians can really open this up here on this offensive play. Griffey hands it off. Osborne, though, is met immediately, and maybe they'll give him a yard forward progress, but not much more than that. Actually, they will give him about 2 yards, so more than I thought. But Isaac Osborne, not as much running room there as the last time he touched the ball, which went right up the gut and was untouched the last 20 yards into the end zone. Griffey looks to pitch it. He does, but there's a wall of Cougar defenders there. Just blockers couldn't quite get out in front there. So that's going to be third down for Martinsville. So quick couple runs there. And we've got a third and about 6 coming up for the Artesians. Third and 6 coming up. 7:10 left to go, and it's a bad handle. And now Griffey's got to jump on it. Was he able to get it? And Bloomington says they have it, and they do. And that is a crushing blow there for the Artesians. The snap looked good. It just looked like it went through Griffey's hands. Hands might be cold and just hit his hands and kind of went right through him. So Bloomington North, there's life there for them as they get the ball at the Artesian 36-yard line. Artesians were looking to pass there. The snap was good, just Griffey couldn't quite hang on to it. I thought he might be able to jump back on it, but unable to get on it, and a Bloomington North player got it away, and here we are, defense in a tough spot, but they've been here before, and they've always stepped up. Lozano, he's going to pass it, and nobody there. And there's a late flag. We'll see what this is all about, but there was not a receiver anywhere near where Lozano was throwing that. So we'll see what this is all about. The flag came from the back official that's behind the play. So we'll see what the call is here. Right now it's 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass, but we'll have to wait and see what the referee is going to call here. And it's going to be a defensive holding penalty on the Artesians. So maybe that's why that there wasn't a receiver anywhere near where Lozano threw it. Official apparently says that a Martinsville player was holding on to him. So unfortunately, just when you think Martinsville is going to break this open, here we are, 17-3. Martinsville still with a 14-point lead, but Bloomington North has it at the Artesian 26-yard line. Lozano going to hand it off on the jet sweep, and not a whole lot of running room there. Maybe a yard. Good job of the Artesians to stop Nathan Jenkins on that jet sweep. He's ran that a few times. One time it was really successful, but the other 2 times the Artesians have bottled Jenkins up on that jet sweep play. So 2nd and 10 coming up for the Cougars. Martinsville trying to keep them out of the end zone. Not for sure their kicking situation. Their one field goal they made was a 23-yarder. This one would be much more if Bloomington North does not get any more yards here. But we still got a few downs to figure that out. 2nd and 10. Artesian defense trying to get a stop. Lozano rolls out. He throws it. He's got a man, but it was wide over his head. I think he was trying to get that to Nathan Jenkins again. Jenkins, probably the go-to receiver. He's got 448 yards coming into this game, 33 catches and 4 touchdowns. Jenkins had a big game against Southport in the regular season finale. 3rd and 10 coming up for the Cougars now. So 2 straight plays where the Cougars don't get a yard. Artesian defense has a chance to get a big stop. And you got a timeout. Coach Bless going to use his first one of the half. Big important play for both teams here, but especially Bloomington North. If they want to get back in this game, they're going to have to get points here on this drive. Artesians trying to keep them off the scoreboard. They've got a 17-3 lead with 6:09 left to go. The winner of this game will take on the winner of Whiteland and Bloomington South, which is going on right now at Whiteland High School. In the 3rd quarter, it was Whiteland with a 27-7, or check that, Bloomington South, excuse me, with a 27-17 lead. I was told that Bloomington South led at one point 27-0 in that game. Whiteland scored 17 straight points to make it close. I just heard a score now updated. Bloomington South with a 27-24 lead. So that lead is slowly, is actually quickly, I should say, depleting. And if Bloomington South is able to win that game and Martinsville can hang on to win this one, they will play at Bloomington South. If Whiteland is the one that wins, comes from behind, then Martinsville would play here if they are able to come out with a victory tonight. 3rd down and 10, big, and it's a quick pass caught by Jenkins. He is tackled. He's going to be shy of the first down, but there was a flag thrown almost immediately. So we'll have to see what this penalty flag is for. It was a quick pass to Jenkins. Artesian did a good job to keep him from getting the first down. He will be short of the first down, but we'll have to see what the penalty is. The official's going to the Artesian sideline, which makes me think that it might be against Bloomington North, and it is. Now a decision for Coach Whitson. So it's a legal procedure. It is declined, so it'll bring up fourth down. So Coach Whitson decided to decline the penalty. So Bloomington North will get the completion and the yards, and it'll be 4th and about 3 coming up for the Cougars. So you could have had it 3rd and 15, but Coach Whitson decided to take the loss of down. 4th and 3 coming up for Bloomington North. We'll see if the Artesians can stop them here. Back to pass, Lozano. He's going to loft it up, and it's caught by Jenkins. He is going to be shy of the touchdown, but a completed pass by Lozano's go-to man, who he's pretty much targeted all half. That's number 9, Jenkins. And it was completed just for a one, where it stopped at the 1-yard line, and Lozano has it. And Artesians were not fooled. I was fooled. I thought Trueblood was going to take that into the end zone, but Lozano kept it on the option, and he went backwards. Ben Marino in there on the tackle. Hopefully we have a repeat of what happened earlier in the first half, where Bloomington North had it at the 3-yard line, first down, and could not get it in. This time they had it first down on the 1-yard line, and now they've gone back 4 yards. 2nd and 5 coming up. I mentioned how strong this Artesian goal line defense is. Lozano back to pass. He's got pressure. He will go down. And Logan Byram. Nope, check that. Ben Balsarac. I saw the 7. Ben Balsarac, the linebacker, in there on a huge sack for the Artesians. And Bloomington North is going to call a timeout. They are scrambling. So the second timeout called by Coach Bless. So that's going to bring up 3rd and goal, but they are now back at the Artesian 11-yard line. They started this at the 1-yard line, and they've gone back 10 yards. Lozano kept it on an option. He went back 4 yards. Then Ben Balsarac from his linebacker spot came in there with the sack. Artesian defense is just really strong what they have done in the goal line situation. Now, still got 3rd and 11, and at this point in the ball game, I'm guessing if Bloomington North, if they don't get in the end zone on 3rd down, they're probably going to go for it on 4th, because a field goal doesn't really do them a whole lot. It still makes this a 2-possession game with 4:52 left to go in the 3rd quarter. So we'll see. But first, the Artesians have to stop them on 3rd down to force Coach Bless to make a decision. Lozano back, and we had all kinds of pressure, but whistle was blown, and we might have a false start on Bloomington North. And Reese Lozano may be happy that that whistle was blown, because he had 2 Martinsville players right on him, and that's what it is. And you've got to hate that as a head coach. Out of a timeout, you get a penalty. 5-yard penalty, so now it's 3rd and goal from the 16-yard line. So Bloomington North just keeps going backwards here. The Artesian fans who are here in this cold, windy, rainy, damp night, making some noise, trying to get behind this Artesian defense. Not for sure what the delay is. Here we go. 3rd and goal from the 16. Bloomington North with the football. Artesian defense trying to get a stop. Lozano back to pass. He's going to get some pressure. He's still on his feet, still scrambling. Logan Byron, he will go down. Logan Byron with a huge sack, and Reese Lozano just kept going backwards and backwards and backwards, and now you've got 4th and goal way back. That's great coverage by the secondary, and then great pressure coming from your defensive line and your linebacker spots. And Logan Byron was the one to bring down. This is Logan's 2nd sack of the night. 4th and goal from the 32-yard line, and Coach Bless doesn't have an option now. He's got to go for it just because he's out of field goal range. So even if that was an option, they've got to go for it. So the Artesians just have to keep him out of the end zone. And is Bloomington North going to call another timeout, or is there official timeout? Officials timeout here. There's no timeout called by Bloomington North. I don't know what the problem was. So I don't know what this could be about. So there's 4:01 left to go in this 3rd quarter play. And Bloomington North had a golden opportunity after the football went through the hands of Travis Griffey on the snap. Bloomington North recovered it, and recovered it actually around this area where they have the ball now. They got it all the way down to the 1-yard line on a 4th and 3 play. And now Bloomington North will call their 3rd and final timeout. Bloomington North now has no timeouts remaining. And this is still a close ball game, 17-3, and now Coach Bless has no timeouts left. So if this game gets tight, Bloomington North have no timeouts to stop the clock if they would need to later in this game. Martinsville still with all 3 of their timeouts. But with 4:01 left to go in the 3rd quarter, Coach Bless has called a timeout, and I don't know what he's upset about. He keeps pointing at the scoreboard, the clock. I don't know what the issue is. It's 4th and 32 from the 32. It's 4th and goal. I cannot understand why he is so upset. But the officials are going to be talking to Coach Bless on the far sideline there. So Bloomington North, like I said, had a shot to get back in this game, make it a 7-point game, had it 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, and now they are 4th and goal from the 32. You had 2 sacks and then a 4-yard loss on a run from Reese Lozano. And now if you're the Artesians, just keep them out of the end zone. Just make sure they don't score. They can't get a 1st down. Low snap. Throws deep. He's got a man. Ooh, and it was off the hands, and that's awfully close. Artesians fortunate. I think that's number 9 again, Nathan Jenkins, and Artesians fortunate that he didn't come down with that, because that would have been a killer for Martinsville after all that great defensive work to give up a touchdown there. But off the hands of Nathan Jenkins at near the goal line, and Artesians offense will trot back out there. 3:54 left to go, and they'll have the ball at the 32-yard line. Hopefully Travis Griffey's keeping those hands warm. And he's going to keep it himself up the middle, and he's going to just carry a couple defenders and get about 3 or 4 yards on that carry. He's had a lot of success with it, had 2 really big runs in the first half, just right up the gut. Got to give it to this defense. Just these 3 quarters just played so well. They've given up 19 points per game on the season. Right now they're giving up 3. Myers with it. Gets a block. Still on his feet. It looks like it was Isaac Osborne who laid a block and sprung him and just kept driving his defender all the way back. Fortunately, didn't get called for any type of unnecessary roughness penalty. But Andy Myers gets the 1st down, and it's so good to have the junior Andy Myers back. As you can see, he has had a huge game, big impact in this sectional game. Griffey keeps it, and he's going to get across the 50 into Bloomington North territory, just shy of the 45-yard line, the 46. There is a penalty marker, though, on the field. Right at the close to the 50-yard line. So this may come back. We'll see. And it is a holding penalty on the Artesians, so that will come back. So Travis Griffey came off of the field. I don't know if that was by design or if he's nicked up a little bit, but that means Xavier Tinnitus, the junior, is out there at the quarterback position, first and long after the holding penalty, and they're going to have Xavier pass it. He's got some pressure. He's going to run, gets tackled from behind, so he will go down for a sack. So a kind of a strange play call there. So Xavier Tinnitus came in on that, looked to pass, and had some pressure coming from the right side. Forced him out of the pocket, and he was tackled from behind for a bit of a loss. 2nd and 20 coming up here for Martinsville. Griffey does the option play, and now good gain there. Couldn't see if that was Cox or Isaac Osborne. And now we've got a flag. We had some extra shoving there around the 40-yard line, well away from the play. And we'll have to see who this is going to go against. Well, there was all kinds of, and this is getting a little chippy now. We've seen a few of these plays get extended due to some extra blocking and things like that. I think this may go against, I saw a Bloomington North player go down, and typically if you see a Bloomington North player go down, it might be against the Artesians, and it will be. Yep. That was well away from the ball. The play kind of ended at the around the 45-yard line, and it was about 10 yards downfield that penalty was called. So 3rd down and about 25. Let's see what Artesians draw up here. And Griffey rolls it out. He's got a man wide open. It's Michael Hopple. Michael Hopple gets near midfield, so gets out past the original line of scrimmage, but he's still going to be about 6 or 7 yards shy of the 1st down. So made up quite a few yards there. So it's 4th and 7 with 1:08 left to go in this 3rd quarter of play. Martinsville offense still out there, and the way your defense is played, I don't blame you. And there's some movement there from Bloomington North. No penalty, says the official. Says he got back in time. 8 seconds left to go in the game clock. And we're going to take the delay of game and just punt this away. So that's what Coach Whitson will decide to do. And we'll see if Caleb Urban can pin back the North Cougars. And I just got a score update. Bloomington South up 34-24 with not much time left to go. So it looks like, barring a Whiteland miracle, Bloomington South may win that game. And if that's the case, then if the Artesians can hang on and win this one, they will travel to Bloomington South next week. But still got a whole nother quarter left. Urban, nice punt. It's high. And it is going to take a Martinsville bounce, and it's fielded inside the 5-yard line, and he will go down. What a great punt and great coverage by the Artesian punt team. That had all kinds of hang time, which allowed the punt team to get down there, and then it was fielded on the bounce inside his own 5-yard line. And Artesians bring him down. So first down from their own 4-yard line. Artesians bring pressure in and through the hole and brought down. I'll try to see who that was. Couldn't see. There was a Martinsville player who grabbed onto the jersey of the running back for Bloomington North, and that was what just slowed him up enough from going about 95 yards for the touchdown. This time it's Trueblood handing off. That time nowhere to go, though. And that may do it for the third quarter. We'll see. 8 seconds left, and that will do it. Artesians with a 17-3 lead. We've got one more quarter left. It's sectional action here at Ciderwoods Field on WRAP 15 Sports.
Join the majority.
Our definition of a relationship is being able to look you in the eye and hear about your concern, hearing about your family, hearing about your job, hearing about your aspirations, getting to know you, and positioning ourselves to help you meet those dreams. Now that sounds pretty old-fashioned, but we're not willing to give that up. We're simply not going to give that up.
For all the banking services you need, there's no place like home.
And welcome back, everyone. WRAP 15 Sports from Ciderwoods Field. It is sectional action here. Artesians, Cougars. Artesians up 17-3. 2nd and 9 coming up. Low snap, Lozano gets it. Now he's going to run with it, and he breaks a couple tackles and still on his feet, but then gang tackled at about the 20-yard line. And that's what the Artesians have done a really good job of. They've been able to string out those runs and then gang tackle the Cougar players as Joey Kohler in there on that tackle. 3rd and 6 coming up. 11:30 as this fourth quarter is just now underway. This was set up. Caleb Urban had a long punt, and the punt team did a great job of pinning Bloomington North inside their own 5. They had one first down run, but now it's 3rd down for Bloomington North. He's going to pass it, and it is Seth Gallion. Did he pick it off? I think he did, and no official call yet. But it's got to be an interception, and it is. Seth Gallion with the interception. Garrett Miles had one earlier in the game. Seth Gallion, now he's got his 4th, so both of those guys with 4 interceptions on the season. Garrett Miles with his in the first half, and then Seth Gallion just right there. Artesians, even though they are outsized, these Bloomington North receivers are much bigger than the defensive backs in the corners of Martinsville, but they've just been in great position playing in front of those receivers and just snatches it out in front of them. So 2 picks by the Artesian defense. That is 23 takeaways on the year. So the Artesian defense forcing all kinds of turnovers all season long. And now the Artesian with a really big chance to make a statement here. And they're going to try it right away. Going to try to go to Andy Myers again. Throws it up for grabs. Incomplete. Couldn't hang on to it. It was one-on-one coverage. Griffey threw it up. Andy Myers tried to go up and get it, but could not bring it down. Like I said, I do like how Martinsville has gone deep and really gone after it through the air. A couple times it has pay dividends for them. Second down now coming up for the Artesians. Griffey's going to keep it himself up the middle. Moving that pile. Wow. Look at the effort. One thing about Travis Griffey, he will not go down on the first contact. So 3rd and short coming up. Third and 3 coming up for the Artesians. Hands it off to Osborne. Isaac Osborne making some men miss. Nice run by Isaac Osborne. Unfortunately, we've got an injured player. Looks like a Bloomington North player is injured on that play. Good move by Isaac Osborne to make a couple men miss and get that extra yards to for sure get that first down. So Artesians in really good position here if they can punch this in, go up 24-3 in this fourth quarter. So as the Bloomington North player is tended to, that's number 11. I think that's Friel. Ben Friel, yep. Does the kicking duties and also plays defense. I think he was in there on that tackle. Maybe got the worst of it, so he will go off the field. Luckily, he went off on his own power. So 10-19 left to go. Artesians trying to stretch this lead. Bloomington North has kind of hung around. It was 3-3 for most of the first half. And then the Artesians were finally able to score with a second left in the second quarter to go up 10-3 when they head to the locker room. They scored on their first possession in the second half, go up 17-3, and that's where we still stand. Isaac Osborne up the middle, down near the 10-yard line. You have to go back to that defensive stand where it was 17-3. Bloomington North had it at the 1-yard line, 1st and goal. Griffey's going to keep it, try to get to the outside and falls forward, but I don't know if he got enough for the first down. It's going to be close. Going to be shy about a yard or two, so it's going to be 3rd down. But Bloomington North had it 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, and the Artesians just pushed them back all the way to the 32-yard line, and that's where the Artesians were able to take over. Osborne spins, still on his feet, and he's in. Touchdown, and that might do it. 9:20 left to go, but the touchdown by Isaac Osborne, and the way your defense is playing, if you're a Martinsville fan, you got to feel pretty good. 23-3 is your score with an extra point coming up. Isaac Osborne, his second touchdown of the night. Kick is up. It is good. 24-3 is your score in this sectional semifinal. Artesians looking for their first sectional championship since 1996, and they're inching close to the next step, which would be the sectional final, which more than likely is going to be against Bloomington South at Bloomington South, as I believe they were on the verge of defeating the Whiteland Warriors, which might surprise a lot of people. Once again, though, Bloomington South, I think they 5-4 coming into the sectionals, but the record can be deceiving. Coach Moriarty is he is that coach that can get his team playing at the right time. Martinsville has been a victim to it a few times. So we're getting ready to kick this off here. Urban has it teed up, puts his leg into it. It's a line drive kick, and it will be taken. Nope. Actually, we'll go into the end zone. 24-3. Artesians have the lead. Defense back out on the field. Now, Isaac Osborne's had a couple touchdown runs, and Andy Myers had a big touchdown catch and another long reception. He's had a really good night, especially since coming back from injury. But if you have a player of the game, like granted there's 9 minutes left, but so far this whole defense, you'd have to give it to them. Low snap, Lozano, and it is off the hands of his intended receiver. I don't know if that was a setup screen or what, but it was off the hands, incomplete. And Reese Lozano just has not had a great night throwing the ball. Came in throwing just a shade under 50% completion rate, 1,100 yards, a little over 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Only had 3 interceptions all season long, and Martinsville's got him twice. Low snap, Lozano. He's going to tuck it and run. He will get tackled from behind, and it will be behind the line of scrimmage. Ben Marino looks like he was in there on that play, also in there on that tackle. Joey Kohler, number 72. So 3rd and 11 coming up for the Cougars. You'd have to guess that if Bloomington North does not get a first down here, and they're either forced to go for it on 4th down, and if they don't get it, then might be a win for Martinsville. And he will go down. It's Logan Byram again. Logan Byram with the 3rd sack of the game. And Coach Bless, I think, is going to bring out his punting unit. What a great day for Logan Byram. 3 sacks tonight. For the senior. High snap. It's bobbled. And Artesians bring him down, and they jump on it. And the Artesians, they just keep rolling. And that was a high snap. The punter tried to bring it down. Then he tried to run with it, and he got tackled hard, thrown backwards, and the Artesian offense will have it at about the 1, maybe 2-yard line. And that might be the one play that just completely knocks out any hope that any Bloomington North player, coach, or fan was still maybe holding on to. But the Artesians now just a couple yards away from really putting the exclamation point on this game and maybe sending some of these fans back to get warm in their car. Tyler Cox with it. He's going to take it on the outside, untouched, touchdown, Martinsville. And that may just do it. That might be the exclamation point, and you might see a mass exodus from Ciderwoods Field here, especially maybe on that Bloomington North side. 30-3 is now your score. Waiting this extra point from Caleb Urban. Kick is up. It is good. 31-3. The Artesians have outscored the Bloomington North Cougars 21-0 in this second half. And Martinsville might have just put it into Bloomington North's season. And Artesians, their season looks to be continuing. And they will play in the sectional championship, and I'm 99% sure it will be against Bloomington South, at Bloomington South. And the rivalry will continue. Artesians did beat Bloomington South in the second game of the regular season, 47-20. But if you're a Martinsville fan, you have to know that you have to forget about that, because Bloomington South will be ready And this will be taken at about the 2-yard line, so a potential return here for the North Cougars, and a big hit just before the return man could get to the 20. So with 7:41, the defense will come back on with a 28-point lead. Lozano, he's going to pass it. It's going to set up a bit of a trick play, and it is caught and tackled from behind. Garrett Miles with a touchdown-saving tackle. So Bloomington North, maybe it might be a little too late, but tried a little trick play. A pass behind the line of scrimmage, and then the receiver threw it to an open man. And now Bloomington North has it in Artesian territory. Lozano will keep it, and he will be tackled at about the 25-yard line. And Bloomington North has no way to stop the clock. They used up all their timeouts in the third quarter, which is kind of a puzzling move because when they used up all their timeouts, it was still 17-3. This game was still fairly tight, but now toward the end, Bloomington North no way to salvage any time as it's under 7 minutes here in this game. 31-3, Artesians with a commanding lead. Second down for the Cougars. Lozano looking. He's going to roll to his right, and he's going to decide to go back up the middle, and he's not going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. He is driven backwards by about 2, 3, or 4 Martinsville defenders. So that's going to be another loss for the North Cougars. So third and about 7 coming up for the Cougars here. And the clock just continues to roll. And Lozano's going to give it off to Trueblood, and he will go down. Nowhere to go, no gain on that carry. And Martinsville has forced another fourth down. So after the big trick play that Bloomington North completed on the first play of this drive, Artesian defense stiffened up. Bloomington North has just not had much room to go on the ground. Lozano's going to keep it himself, and he is getting hits hard. And the Martinsville Artesians will take over with 5:25 left to go in the game and a 28-point lead. Let's see if Coach Whitson puts in some of his players a little further down on the 2 deep. Keep the rest of the starters healthy. I see Isaac Osborne. He's still out on the sideline. Matt Thomas also out on the sideline, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Xavier Tinnitus leads a fresh set of players onto the field. So that will do it for the starters. They can rest up and get ready for next week, the sectional championship game. Cox, not much room there on that run, and they will stop the play there. So Martinsville will play Bloomington South at Bloomington for the sectional championship, looking for their first sectional title in 22 years. Said these two teams played in the second game of the season. Martinsville won 47-20. However, you've got to put that behind you because you know that Bloomington South, they just knocked off a Whiteland Warrior team that was 8-2 going into that game, and you know they'll be ready. Nowhere to go on that carry by Tyler Cox. Actually broke free and got a couple yards, so good hustle there. So third down coming up for the Artesians, and right now they're just wanting to burn as much clock as possible. Cox is going to pitch it. Or check that was Cox with it. Spin moves and gets a couple yards maybe on that, but it was Xavier Tinnitus with the pitch to Tyler Cox, and Cox was able to spin out of trouble and get a yard or two and bring out the punting unit here. Caleb Urban just going to punt this away. Late run on here, Xavier Tinnitus, and you're going to have to either call a timeout or get a delay of game. That play clock was down to 1 second, and it will be a 5-yard penalty on the delay of game. Hopefully, if you are a Artesian fan, you make the trip to Bloomington South next week, where the Artesians will play the Panthers for the sectional championship game. Hopefully the weather cooperates. The last 2 games have been cold, damp, and rainy. High punt, and it's going to go out of bounds. So Caleb Urban, check that. I don't know. Anyway, punt out of bounds. It will be marked at the 45-yard line. Like I said, hopefully the weather cooperates. It's obviously it's more than likely going to be a cool night, but hopefully at least the rain and the wind stay away. Quick pass there to Steinfeld, and he's knocked out of bounds across the 40-yard line. So Bloomington North, unfortunately, will end their season for them 2-8 on the season. So a disappointing end of their season as they've looking for their first winning season since 2013. That's the last sectional championship they had. It was in 2013 when they defeated Bloomington South 24-21 that year. But since then, they've really struggled over the past 5 years, and this year not much better as they dropped to 2-8. They did have some success in 2010, and that was a year where they had only won 3 games in the regular season, then got hot at the right time, won a sectional championship, then won a regional championship against Castle 21-17 before they fell in the semi-state to Lawrence Central. So Bloomington North has had a little bit more success in the tournament than the Artesians have, and he will go down. And it's 54 with the sack. It's Nigel Bryants who brings down Lozano behind the line of scrimmage, setting up 4th down. Fourth down play here for Bloomington North. Deep pass, it is caught and tackled. Billy Bias in there on the tackle. So the long completion completed, but for North, unfortunately for them, too little too late as this game is well out of hand. 31-3, Artesians still lead it. Now the only question will be what is the final score. Lozano, gets hit hard. Gets across the 10-yard line. No way to stop the clock, and clock's still going to roll. Great second half here for the Artesians. Gonna throw, we got a man, it is caught. And that is caught by number 5 of Bloomington North, Cade Loffman. I believe that's Cade Loffman's first touchdown of the season. So 31-9, we'll see what Bloomington North does here. It looks like they're gonna try and just go for 2. 37.9 seconds left to go in the game. They're going to go for 2 here. Pass it, and 2-point conversion, no good. So we'll kick it off. We'll see if Bloomington North just tries to do an onside kick. Doesn't matter because when Martinsville gets the ball, they'll just get in the victory formation and take a couple knees, and this game will be officially over. So Artesians will win this sectional game. It's back-to-back seasons that the Artesians have at least got 1 win in sectional. Last year it was against Franklin here at Ciderwoods Field, and unfortunately Bloomington South came to town and knocked off the Artesians in the sectional championship game last year. Well, this time Artesians get to go to Bloomington. Maybe they'll return the favor and knock off the Panthers in the sectional championship at Bloomington South next week. So they're setting up for the onside kick here, so Cougars are trying to extend this game as long as they most possibly can, and it's not going to go 10 yards. So Artesians can just take a couple knees, and that will be it. So I'd like to thank the crew for helping us out tonight, especially the camera crew on this cold, windy, damp day. Brave in the elements. Appreciate it. WREP 15 Sports broadcast, sectional semifinal here at Ciderwoods Field, and it's even though some of the fans might be cold and wet, they're going to go home happy as their Martinsville Artesians will knock off the Bloomington North Cougars. 31-9 will be the more than likely official final score. It's a little while where the Artesians had several years where they hadn't even won a sectional game, and now they've got back-to-back sectional wins, but it's not over yet. They've got to play their rival, the Bloomington South Panthers, next week in the sectional championship at Bloomington South High School. I hope if you are able, you can attend that game, support these Martinsville Artesians. For everyone at WREP 15 Sports, I'm Eric Burns. Good night, everybody.